Welcome back, students, to your geography lesson. We started the chapter Manufacturing Industries this week, Monday, and now we're going to do part two of it. Today, we are going to learn about agro based industry. If you all remember last class, we did classification. I had even asked you all to draw a little concept map in your books with some diagrams of, about their raw materials or whatever, just depicting it, some small icon next to it. So you all know that when you classify industries on the basis of the raw materials that they use, that's when we have agro-based industry and mineral-based industry. So today we will learn about agro-based industries. So just like the name suggests, agro-based industry are the industry that take their raw materials from agriculture. Okay. Now, India, it has the largest arable land under agriculture. Cotton, silk, jute, woolen textiles, sugar, edible oil industries, these are all based on agricultural raw material. They all require raw material that is obtained by agriculture, right? So these are industries. These are called agro-based industries because these industries take agricultural raw materials. Okay, cotton textile. Now, the textile industry occupies a unique position in the Indian economy. Okay, because it contributes significantly to the industrial production, employment generation. Okay, so these are the two main things why a textile industry is very important to Indian economy. In ancient India, cotton textiles were produced with hand spinning and handloom weaving techniques. If you all remember the charkha, right? So that was the old times when that's how it was produced. So cotton industry is one of the oldest industries in India. Okay, now new weaving techniques have come in. So in 2015, there were around 1962 cotton and human-made fiber textile mills in the country. So the first cotton textile mill was set up in Mumbai in 1854. Can you all find out who set it up and where? That would be interesting. If you do, please comment on this video with that answer. Who set up the first cotton textile mill and where? Okay. Okay, so the cotton textile mill is mainly located in Maharashtra and Gujarat. And the reason is, if you all remember when we were talking about location, normally they select a location where they get their raw materials easily and close by, where they get the facilities they require. So why is it that the cotton textile industries are mainly located in Maharashtra and Gujarat? Well, because of the availability of raw cotton, as black cotton soil is present in Maharashtra and Gujarat. Then there is good transport facilities that include port facilities. There is a lot of availability of labor, and we have a good moist climate. Yes, right now I can definitely say we have a moist climate. You should see us in May, right? How moist is it? But generally speaking, compared to other parts of the country, we have a good moist climate that supports the growth of cotton. And hence, cotton textile industries are mainly located in Maharashtra and Gujarat. Okay, so in the olden times, we used to do hand spinning and handloom weaving, but after 18th century, power looms came into use. Okay, and because of this, because of the power looms that came, our traditional industry, it started to suffer a setback during the colonial period because they could not compete with the mill made cloth that was brought from England. Okay, so right now, but today if you see, there are 1600 cotton and human made fiber textile mills in our country. and 80% of these are in the private sector. 80% of these 1600 mills are in the private sector and the others are in the public sector. Apart from these, there are several thousand small factories with 4 to 10 looms. So early days, cotton textile industry was concentrated in cotton growing belt of Maharashtra and Gujarat because of availability of raw material, market, transport, accessible port facilities, labor, moist climate, etc. Okay, the industry has close links with agriculture and it provides a living to farmers, cotton ball pluckers, and workers engaged in ginning, spinning, weaving, dyeing, designing, packaging, tailoring, sewing. So many people are dependent on this industry for jobs. Yes, the industry, by creating demands, supports many other industries like chemicals and dyeing, mill stores, packaging materials, engineering works. So while spinning continues to be centralized in Maharashtra, Gujarat, and Tamil Nadu, weaving is highly decentralized to provide scope for incorporating traditional skills and designs of weaving in cotton, silk, zari embroidery, etc. India has world-class production in spinning, but weaving supplies low quality of fabric as it cannot use much of the high quality yarn produced by the country. Weaving is done by handloom, powerloom in mill. Okay. The handspun khadi also provides large scale employment to weavers in their homes as a cottage industry. So why it is concentrated in Mumbai and in Maharashtra and Gujarat would be a very important question. And the answer is because of black cotton soil, then development of Mumbai port, availability of power by Tata Hydroelectric Powers, vast development of trade and a suitable humid climate. Centers for production, center of production in order of their importance include Maharashtra, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh, and some other states. What is the importance of cotton industry in India? Cotton textile industry is the largest employer after agriculture. It is the largest employer because you know the amount of jobs it gives employment in ginning, spinning, weaving, dyeing, designing, tailoring, packaging, producing ready-made garments. So many industries that we know are based on this cotton textile industry. It is also one of the biggest foreign exchange earners with high value added products like garments. Value of textile exports have risen from about 40,000 crores in 1999-2000 to 190 crores in 2013-14. It needs imports of just 7 to 8% of their total imports. Okay, so it imports very less, but it exports quite a lot. The industry is mostly in private hands and it has a predominant presence in the Indian economy. So most of the industries out this is in the private hands. More 80% of it is privatized. Main exports, where do we export most of our cotton textiles to? Japan, USA, UK, France, Sri Lanka, Nepal, East European countries, etc. Cotton textile is produced by 3 methods in India: handloom, powerloom, and mills. Cotton textile industry involves all these productions that I have already told you all. These are all the other professions that to which value is added because of the cotton textile industry. What are the challenges that our cotton textile industry is facing? Number one is scarcity of good quality cotton. Main cotton growing area went to Pakistan during the division. So we have less area to grow and we don't have good quality. Other thing is we have old machines. Also, they require a erratic power supply. Okay. And so there is, even with all the labor that we put in, we get very low output. And of course, there is a very tough competition by the synthetic fabrics that, okay, synthetic fabrics are the fabrics that are artificial. All right. So these are the challenges that the cotton industry is facing. These are major cotton industries, cotton textile mills in India. You can see most of it is cluttered in Maharashtra and Gujarat, but we can see some in West Bengal, some in Tamil Nadu, yes, some in Uttar Pradesh. So we have it in different parts, but most of it is in Mumbai and Maharashtra and Gujarat. Next, we come to jute textile industries. So the khadi also provides large scale employment to weavers. Okay, especially they can do this at their home and it is a cottage industry. Okay. So there are about 70 jute mills in India today. Okay. Most of the jute mills are in the West Bengal and they produce 80% of the jute goods. And jute exports, after quality improvements, have shown an annual increase of 5.5% in the US dollars. So we have been able to export this and we are also able to export more amount and good quality. India today ranks number 1 in raw jute production and jute good produced, but we are second in terms of exports. The jute industry was chiefly a handloom industry before. Rishra, that is a place near Kolkata, it was the chief center of production. Also, the first jute mill has been set up in Rishra. Okay. So in 1855, the first jute mill was also started, but due to the partition, jute growing areas have moved to Bangladesh at that time. So most of the cotton area went to Pakistan. Most of our jute growing areas went to Bangladesh. Since jute products have been facing tough competition from synthetic substitutes, which is stronger and cheaper. So jute is mainly used in making ropes, bags, carpets, and most of the jute mills are located along the Hooghly River in West Bengal. And why are they mainly located over there? Because raw jute is available for West Bengal. There is an inexpensive water transport system over there, a good network of railways, roadways, waterways to facilitate movement of raw material to the mills, abundant water processing, raw jute, cheap labor from West Bengal and adjoining states like Bihar, Orissa, Uttar Pradesh. Kolkata, as a large urban center, provides banking, insurance, and port facilities for export of jute goods. So it is also a very good urban center. They have a good market over there for the jute produced. So it is a good place for jute textile industry. What are the challenges that are faced by the industry? They get stiff competition in the international market from synthetic substitutes. Okay, synthetic substitutes are artificial substitutes that can replace the original, but they are not the same. So these substitutes, they come from other competitors like Bangladesh, Brazil, Philippines, Egypt, and Thailand. What is the solution for it? In 2005, National Jute Policy was formulated with the objective of increasing productivity, improving quality, ensuring good prices to the jute farmers, and enhancing the yield per hectare. Okay, so these things were taken into account, and we have seen an increase in the productivity. Next, we come to the sugar industry. Now, the second most industry after cotton textile is sugar. The first is agriculture. Second most employment provider in our country is cotton textile. And if you look at the other textiles, the second one close to it is the sugar industry. The byproducts of sugar, that is brown sugar, jaggery, they are largely consumed in the rural areas. Okay, so India stands second as a world producer of sugar, and India occupies the first place in production of gur and khansari. So these are both uh, different products of sugar. Okay. In your textbook, there is a map which shows the textile industries. Please go through it very well. You should be able to identify them. Okay. Now, the raw material used in this industry is bulky, and it in haulage to its sucrose content required. So the raw material is very bulky because of the sucrose content. We need to reduce the sucrose content. It is the second largest agro-based industry after cotton. Bagasse obtained after crushing is used for making boards, papers, and cardboards and insulation material. So the byproduct, that means after you have extracted and you have crushed the bagasse that you obtain, even that can be used for making board, paper, cardboard, insulation material. Bagasse is also now being used as fuel to generate electricity. Molasses is a dark colored liquid, is used in making rum, rubber, ethanol, and a large number of other products. Pressed mud is used in making carbon paper, wax, and shoe polish. Uttar Pradesh, with Maharashtra, accounts for 50% of mills. Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu are follow very soon. So in 2010-2011, there were over 662 sugar mills in the country, spread over Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Punjab, Haryana, and Madhya Pradesh. Most of the mills are near the sugar cultivated areas. So, which is the major challenge that the sugar industry faces? So, it includes a seasonal nature of industry. Old and inefficient methods of production are still being used. Transport delay in reaching cane to factories need to maximize the use of bagasse. We have introduced we have you maximize the use of bagasse to a very high extent, like I've told you right now. Okay. Okay, so this industry is very seasonal in nature, and most of the time we have seen that they are located especially near the sugar growing areas, because the raw material used, the sugar canes, they're very heavy, and you don't want to lose its haulage or its sucrose uh, in the transport. You don't want to reduce it, because if it's very far and by the time you reach, you don't want the sucrose to dry up or reduce. So they are generally located close to the sugar growing areas. So most of these mills are there in Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Maharashtra, we have seen. And this industry is seasonal in nature. So it is suited to the cooperative sector. But in recent years, sugar industry is shifting from northern to southern India. There is a tendency of the mills to shift and concentrate in the southern and western states, especially in Maharashtra. Why has this happened? So earlier, UP and Bihar were the main producers of sugarcane. So most sugar mills were located in those two states. But now these sugar mills, they are shifting towards Maharashtra and Karnataka. And the reasons are the production of sugarcane is higher in the southern area. Okay, so if you look at the production per hectare, the production that they get in Maharashtra and Karnataka per hectare is higher than they get in UP and Bihar. And that is because the black soil is very suitable for the cultivation of sugarcane. Now, the sucrose content in the sugarcane is higher in Maharashtra and Karnataka than UP and Bihar. So it means that more sugar can be produced of the less sugarcane. Now look at the two things. One, let's say there's 1 hectare of land. So in UP and Bihar, you are getting 80 sugarcanes. In Maharashtra, you're getting 100. That is one advantage. Second is in UP Bihar, out of those 80 sugar canes, let's say you could make 160 sugar cubes, for example. But in Maharashtra, out of the 100 sugar canes, you can actually make 500 sugar cubes. So automatically, it means that more sugar is produced out of less sugar cane. So the mills and machines are new in the southern states. New and modern machines have increased the productivity. The crushing season for sugarcane is longer in the southern states. And so the cooperative sugar mills are running successfully in these states. And because of these tendencies, okay, the shift is happening from northern to southern India. The cooler climate also ensures a longer crushing season, and the cooperatives are more successful in these states. Yes? So, with this, we end today's class. This is the last thing that we did. We did 3 things today. We did the we've done the cotton textile industry, jute industry, and sugar industry. Okay. So with this, we end today's class. Your homework will be to either draw in your notebooks on the agro-based industries, and you can show all 3 industries in a picture with nice labeling, or you can stick the products and show the raw materials or the finished products of all 3 industries. So either you draw or you stick, or you can write a poem, or you can sing a song. Yes, you can write a song. You can either compose a poem or compose a song that will summarize the agricultural, agro-based industry. What it is, what are the 3, what are the challenges that they face. If you want, you can include that. Okay, something like that. I want you all to get very creative and express yourself in different forms in your notebooks. If you compose a poem, you write it in your notebook. You compose a song, you write that in your notebook. You can draw or you can stick. You can select whichever method suits you. Okay, so with this, I end today's class. Stay home, stay safe, take care, and keep learning.